Now, I want you to take a pause and imagine this for a second. Imagine you are Nandan Nilekani or Narayan Murthy. You are a genius engineer, a topper from IIT. But while your friends are dining at the finest restaurants in New York, you are standing over a small stove in a cramped Brooklyn apartment. While your friends are buying cars and houses, you are washing utensils to save money for the bus next day. While they are enjoying weekends with their families, you are burning the midnight oil with 14 hours of work. My question is, how would you feel? Absolutely terrible, right? But do you realize the same men today are worth billions of dollars? So the lesson to be learned here is that comparison is the killer of all joy. If you're building a business, you have to sacrifice birthdays, you have to sacrifice weddings, and you have to sacrifice fun. That is the trade-off for greatness. In fact, when you're in your grinding mode, when you're chasing your dreams, the greatest favor you can do to yourself is stop comparing your life with Instagram content. And please remember, the early days will be tough, humiliating, and depressing. But if you think you're too big to wash the dishes, remember, you're already too small to start a business. And by the way, the Infi boys stuck to this grind for 2 long years. And after 50 trips to Delhi, they finally got a computer in 1983. And then for another 4 years, from 1983 to 1987, Dawn was giving them 90% revenue. So they were over dependent on Dawn and they were barely taking out salaries because all the money got reinvested into recruiting engineers, offices, and infrastructure. But finally, after 6 years, they saw another opportunity. This opportunity came from Reebok. Back then, KSA was a company that was acting as a management consultant to retail giants. And since the Infi boys did excellent work with Dawn, KSA asked Reebok to talk to the boys. So do you realize this was again compounding of reputation that was kicking in? Now Murthy and the team realized that KSA had a big problem. They were great at advising, but they could not build software. This is where Murthy and his teammate Chris saw an opportunity. They told KSA, listen guys, you have clients who trust you, but if they cannot build that inventory management system that you recommended, your advice is of no use. So let's crack a partnership. Whenever you advise your clients to build a software solution, recommend them to build with Infosys. That is how Infosys cracked a joint venture with KSA to build software for their clients. And their first client was Reebok. And after Reebok, they started selling to Fortune 500 retail firms in the US and Europe. And eventually, they got clients like General Electric, Nestle, Cisco, and even Apple. And this part of the story has a very important business lesson for all of us. When you're a small company, don't directly sell to the giant. Sell to the person that the giant already listens to. So list the top 3 consultants or agencies in your niche and see what their clients need and find a synergy to sell your product through them. If you do, you will unlock opportunities more efficiently. Because remember, success isn't about how many doors you knock on. It's about which door you choose to knock on.